9.
9.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We are volume 9 of the Galaxy Quest, children rising from the blue sunder. And the dragons were the dragons in and the dragons were...
Fucking Game of Thrones.
And we're fucking back. All right, today's observation is grace. What the fuck is grace?
Shout out to my Aunt Grace.
Shout out Auntie Grace.
We love you.
We talking about all love, big love, light, protection, health, wealth, success, greatness in this life and the next. But what is grace for an individual? What does it mean to have grace for yourself? What does it mean to give grace to another? I believe grace is the gift that we must bestow upon ourselves so that we allow ourselves to grow in real time when we gain self-awareness, so that we have the ability to not stay in the trauma point, to leave specific trauma points, give ourselves grace, permission to not be in pain, so that we can grow, to then go back and observe moments. Grace, to offer peace to ourselves, solace to ourselves. What does that mean? I innately need to give that to another human being. As I often say, we are all reflections. But if we talk about things like protecting our space, protecting our energy, being vigilant, being diligent, and being aware, grace for others might not exist in that space if the aforementioned is observed first. So
At that moment,
in the moment. So again, I know on a personal level, I believe grace is something I need to deliver upon myself for me to perpetually grow, to not stay in a self-destructive state, to observe negative feedback loops and then cancel them and replace them with positive feedback loops. I have to give myself grace, or else I just hammer and hammer and hammer away to the point that whatever I thought I was building or rebuilding, I'm destroying now, in essence, because I haven't stopped hammering away. Grace. For me, what is grace for you?
a lot of what you just said. Grace for me is experiencing things not from a lens of change, but from a lens of seeing. So if I have grace, that means I don't wish to change anything that has happened. I'm only here to see what is here. I'm having grace for myself. That means if I come up short, I came up short in that moment, but that is not the totality of who I am, what I'm doing, who I'm becoming, so on and so forth. So it's about, in a way, not assigning meaning to the moment and just being. Grace, like you said, is peace, is solace, is tranquility, it's trust. When I think of gratitude and I'm thinking of grace, I'm thinking of, I'm not, and I said this, I was talking about this earlier, I'm not trusting, my trust is not coming from people or myself doing what I think they should do based off of what I desire. It's about seeing them do what they are doing in accordance to their nature, trusting in that. And in that trust, that's where I relinquish the control or false sense of control, and I'm having grace. I'm sitting here not judging. I'm not comparing. I'm looking at it for face value as what it is. When I can hold that, when I can hold grace for myself, now I can begin to hold grace for others. Not necessarily that I'm going to, it's not automatic, because we were just talking about this, obviously, but it's about, if I can hold it for myself, then there's no way I don't have the ability to hold it for others. Now I'm just choosing whether or not. based off of my situational awareness, based off, what is being presented to me in the moment. Is this opportunity here to show me why I need to further hold grace for myself, and this person is not worthy of having that at this moment? Or is this the test to show me, am I capable of holding it for someone else? That's where my discernment comes in. Because at the end of the day, you can hold grace for others, and then that person can show you, maybe I didn't have enough grace for myself is what I thought. Maybe I was getting ahead of myself. Maybe I have to keep building the religious practice of grace. So now, come that test again, I'm not even thinking about it. Because I built up, again, situational awareness. I built up the discernment to see, you know what? I'm good, I'm at peace. Don't got to deal with it. Or I'm good, I'm at peace. I can hold this for you. It's up to us. But again, in those moments. One thing you said, and I caught this. It's not about, you said, it's knowing the pattern recognition, knowing the person, knowing their history, knowing their history with you, based off of the lens they choose to see you in. Now, okay, at this moment, I don't have to have grace for you. I can at another time,
Right.
But this moment is showing me, just can't do it.
Those are the moments where there has to be an absence of grace, because again, I believe that's our diligence and our vigilance kicking in at that point, because you'll allow yourself to be a punching bag, but for so long in your mind thinking you're offering grace to another. But at some point, as the seams of your punching bag tear and you recognize that they still just hitting away, you have to be honest. There's no grace being afforded to you. And that is when, at least for me, the recognition of I have to give myself grace. No one's here to give me grace. No one's here to offer me grace. It's on me to create it for myself. And then when I stopped looking for it in any way, shape, or form from other people, I was able to observe how I truly couldn't even offer another person true grace. I could only bestow grace that I observed from myself in a moment, onto a moment, by not interacting. That's the closest thing to me giving grace to another that I could fucking say that I even can exude or exhibit, is that I'll know, like, damn, this shit about to go off the hill. This shit's about to go over the edge. You won't even see it because I'm not even displaying it at all. You know what? I should just abscond. I should leave. I'm going to separate myself with no words, no warning. No one knows where I went and or why, and I'll never explain a fucking thing. Don't even matter. I know that this was the grace that I was gifted in the moment to see I could afford.
The moment you start explaining, that's the moment you're trying to justify something you truly don't believe in.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact.
The moment you start explaining, that shows the person and yourself you don't believe in what you're casting out.
I'm trying to convince you of it.
That's when we had that talk, and it's, again, we go always back to the same shit. The truth does not need defense. And it certainly doesn't need me to defend it.
Don't.
Me out of I don't know how many people, how many souls and spirits. At the end of the day, the truth is going to be the truth, whether people believe it or not. It's there. So if you firmly feel that the truth is truth, that's all you need. I keep thinking, it's just like, the more we try to control, it's like, okay, I'm choosing not to have grace here. I'm choosing not to have grace here. What is the point, or what is the factor that is making us choose that? And I think now that I'm thinking about it, is that coming from fear, or is that coming from growth?
Using the grace?
And not. Because if we're now sitting here and we're saying
both ebb and flow. I'll speak for myself. As much as I've grown, I have a fucking regressive moment. And I'll regress all the way back to some shit I might have did 10 fucking years ago. And I'm still the 2023 version of me.
But that's where I don't want to be in the moment choosing out of fear. It's like you're lying.
Comfort, not fear.
What's the difference?
Comfort is where you go to escape the fear. To run.
But is it really comfort?
Because fear is the false evidence appearing real.
But
comfort
if fear is pushing
you know.
you into a corner, that means you are in a place of not your comfort, but where the fear.
Oh, that's not the comfort zone then. I'm talking about when you experience fear and you know how to abate it and you just run from what is in general. So the fear didn't get you into the corner.
You just ran wherever.
It's like, I'm going to go over here. That shit is the fear over there.
Okay.
I'm not going over there. I'm about to go over here and do some 2020-10 shit. And I'm going to do 2020-10 shit because it's comfortable. I know everything that happened in 2020-10. I'm going to stay away from all the bad shit from 2020-10. I'm just going to do the good shit. That's the comfort zone. That's regression though. Because we're not looking for the pleasures and the comforts of the future, the unknown comforts. That's where the fear lies.
You're still relying
It's like, how do I know there'll be a new comfort? How do I know there'll be a new pleasure? So I know personally, I'll have these regressive moments and I'll observe it for what it's worth because I recognize that is me avoiding where the fear lies. Because the fear lies in not experiencing the comfort, not experiencing the comfort.
Because what you deny doesn't disappear, so.
And indeed, so it's not true avoidance, it's just distraction, no more, no less. And that's why I have to give myself the grace to even observe it. So I'm like, all right, fuck, still in a loop, a very long loop, but still in a loop. Because like I said, some loops on that track are so long that you'll convince yourself that you finally switched gears until you realize, oh my God, I'm meandering the
Wait, that's the person in the
curve.
stands I just saw.
Bro, that shit is heartbreaking sometimes. Because you really will realize I'm on a 10-year-long fucking loop. And you can be honest with yourself about it, like I am.
You drive yourself insane.
Or you'll go apeshit crazy and try to lie and pretend like none of it's happening. And there's no way that this is happening because how could I be looping back to this and
But that's the same thing as far as someone lying and then being afraid that they're going to get caught lying. And they think that that is the fear. But really the fear is the factor that made them lie in the first place.
That's true.
We're so fixated on being caught off of the conditioning of the mind that we're not looking at what conditioned the mind. So again, we're choosing attachment over authenticity. And it's like to move from a lens where we keep attaching ourselves to these loops, to these people.
That's gotta be the next episode. Attachment versus authenticity.
Okay, we'll say that.
Because
we'll say that.
We're gonna.
Because that's a two-part. That's a two-part. That's two-part.
We're gonna spin back the grace because on what you just said, attachment to the inauthentic is not offering ourselves any state of grace.
But we think we're offering these people grace out of the attachment. Because of the attachment, we're offering people grace that don't need to have it. And that's where it shows.
They don't need it from us.
They don't need it from us. But that's showing you there, you're really not holding it for yourself.
Truth be told.
So, but yes, you're right.
Listen.
Another episode.
If you haven't done it already, like, subscribe,
quick, fast, and
comment, hit that notification bell. Ka-ching.